When Olandria from Love Island, USA, Season 7, walked into the Give Her Flowers Gala in LA, nobody expected what was about to unfold. The Nicolandria half-couple, who captured hearts alongside Nick throughout the dating show, just proves she's way more than a reality TV star. We're talking about high fashion, family moments, and a self-love award that had everyone emotional. Ace, Taylor, Cierra, and the whole Love Island crew better pay attention because Olandria is playing a completely different game now. This wasn't just another red carpet moment. This was a statement. Before we get into everything, hit that subscribe button because, trust me, you're going to want to see where this story goes. And yeah, I'll remind you again later when things get really good.
Let's talk about what went down at this gala, because honestly, the fashion alone deserves its own documentary. Olandria showed up wearing a custom gown by designer Amor Garibovic, and if you don't know who that is yet, you're about to. This Istanbul-based designer is known for creating these incredible corset pieces that look like they walked straight out of a Renaissance painting, but somehow feel completely modern. The dress Olandria wore was this gorgeous pink drop-waist gown with a corset bodice that hugged every curve perfectly. But here's where it gets interesting. She paired this ultra-feminine, soft pink dress with black leather gloves. Not satin, not silk, leather. That edge against all that softness created this whole vibe that screamed confidence without trying too hard. Her hair was down in loose waves, makeup soft but striking, with her signature blush that she never skips, and that NYX lip combo she's been loyal to since day one. No jewelry that you could really see, no statement necklace competing for attention. The dress and her face were the only focal points, and honestly, that's exactly how it should have been. Looking at her, you could see she's been developing this fashion signature since leaving the villa. Remember that red look at the VMAs? The structured Brandon Blackwood brown gown? There's a pattern forming here. Corset dresses seem to be becoming her thing, and it's working. She's found what works for her body and her style, and she's running with it. That's smart. Too many people try to wear everything and end up having no signature at all. The gloves were almost too big for her tiny hands, but somehow that made the whole look even more endearing. It's these little imperfect details that make high fashion feel human. Garibovic's designs are all about silhouettes, about creating these very specific shapes that play with classic elegance, but throw in just enough edge to keep things current. His work has this whimsical quality while still being incredibly structured and luxurious. You can tell he's a couture designer who understands bridal work because there's this romantic quality to everything he creates, but it never feels costumey or over the top. When you compare how Olandria styled this dress versus how it looked on the runway model, the difference is striking. She brought glamour to it. The model's version felt more editorial and structured, while Olandria made it feel like a bombshell moment. That's the difference between wearing clothes and embodying them. She took that dress and made it hers, which is what every designer hopes for, but doesn't always get.
Now let's talk about why she was even at this gala in the first place, because this is where the night gets really meaningful. Olandria was there to accept a self-love award, and her mom Felicia was the one who presented it to her. Can you imagine how that must have felt? Your own mother, standing in front of all these people, handing you an award that recognizes your journey toward loving yourself. That's not just a cute moment for the cameras. That's generational healing happening in real time. Her speech was everything you'd want it to be, touching and beautiful and clearly coming from somewhere deep. She had her parents and her uncle there supporting her, all dressed up and looking proud as hell. For someone who's talked openly about being the oldest of 6 kids raised by a single mom, having her family there in that moment had to mean everything. This wasn't about likes or views or brand deals. This was about recognition for the internal work she's been doing, the journey she's been on to accept and love herself fully. The irony isn't lost on anyone who followed her Love Island journey.
Here's someone who spent weeks on national television navigating complicated feelings, dealing with Taylor Williams and that whole situation where he admitted he wasn't physically attracted to her, then finding her way to Nic and dealing with the Cierra situation, all while trying to figure out what she wanted for herself. That takes a specific kind of strength. Self-love isn't just about bubble baths and positive affirmations. Sometimes it's about knowing when to walk away, when to speak up, and when to choose yourself even when it's uncomfortable. The Give Her Flowers Gala founder Heather Lowry was there, and you could see Olandria among all the other honorees and award recipients, holding her own in that company. This is someone who's only been out of the villa for a few months, and she's already being recognized at events like this. That's not accidental. That's intentional positioning and smart career moves. But what's really wild is how different Olandria's post-show trajectory has been compared to most Love Island alumni. Yeah, she's doing the influencer thing, but she's doing it strategically. She signed with Digital Brand Architects, which is owned by United Talent Agency. That's not some random management deal. That's serious representation that opens doors way beyond sponsored Instagram posts. DBA is all about creating 360-degree strategies for their talent, which means they're thinking long-term, not just about the next quick paycheck. Since leaving the villa in July, Olandria has partnered with Microsoft. Not some random tech startup, Microsoft. She used that campaign to highlight Tuskegee University's history and the importance of HBCUs, which makes sense considering she's a first-generation college graduate from Tuskegee with a degree in supply chain management. Before Love Island, she was working as a sales associate in the elevator industry for Otis Elevator Company. She had a whole career before reality TV, and she's making sure people know she's more than just someone who looked good in a bikini on TV. The brand partnerships keep rolling in. Vaseline, Aveeno, EOS, Sweet Green, UGG, Reebok. She modeled for UGG's Fluff Mama boot campaign and was part of Reebok's Angel Reese campaign. Then there's the stuff she's done with Nic, the Nicolandria collaborations. They worked together with Kulani Kinney's, where Nic already had a relationship with the brand since before the show. They launched a curated line together. There was the Agua de Kefir partnership, and probably the biggest one, the Nic's professional makeup collaboration that created an official Nicolandria lip kit. That thing sold out in minutes, not hours, minutes. But here's what makes Olandria different from most reality stars chasing checks. She's being selective. She spoke at the Her Conference Butterfly Tour at Texas A&M University in October, talking about the importance of higher education. She was a keynote speaker at ZCon in Los Angeles, which focuses on young leaders examining how to build a better digital future. These aren't just pretty face opportunities. These are speaking engagements that position her as someone with substance and something to say.
Then there's the fashion world, which has basically embraced her with open arms. She made her runway debut at the Sergio Hudson Spring-Summer 2026 show during New York Fashion Week, not just sitting front row, actually walking the runway. She was also a featured guest at the Off-White show, the Alexander Wang show, and the Theophilio show. Vogue recognized her as one of the best beauty looks at the MTV Video Music Awards. She attended the CFDA Fashion Awards at the American Museum of Natural History wearing a custom Brandon Blackwood dress, and Marie Claire declared it one of the best looks of the night. On top of all that, she went to the Glamour Women of the Year Awards at the Plaza Hotel in a Christian Siriano silk taffeta gown. Glamour said she delivered an instantly iconic style moment. She won the Ebony People's Choice Award at the Ebony Power 100 Gala, beating out nominations from Tracy Ellis Ross, Jasmine Crockett, Audra McDonald, Taylor Townsend, and Elmine. She appeared on the cover of Ebony's 2025 Power issue. Cosmopolitan named her as part of their Z-Stars class of 2025, recognizing Gen Z creators who define trends and influence millions. And The Root included her in their Root 100, an annual list of the most influential leaders and culture shapers, alongside names like Kamala Harris, Beyoncé, Denzel Washington, and Kendrick Lamar.
Let that sink in. She's being mentioned in the same sentences as Beyoncé and Denzel Washington, 4 months out of a reality TV villa. If you're still watching, go ahead and smash that subscribe button because we're about to get into the really interesting stuff about her Love Island journey and what's been happening with Nic Olandria. Let's rewind to how we even got here. Love Island USA Season 7 was an absolute whirlwind, and Olandria was right in the center of it from day one. She and Nic actually kissed on the first day during a challenge, but both of them ended up in other couplings. Nic was with Cierra Ortega, and Olandria was with Taylor Williams. For weeks, fans were screaming at their screens because the chemistry between Nic and Olandria during challenges was undeniable. Every time they interacted, you could see it. But they were both committed to exploring their other connections, which honestly showed maturity, even if it drove viewers crazy.
Then came Casa Amor, that beautiful chaos machine that destroys relationships and creates new ones. Both Nic and Olandria ended up dumped from the island after being left single. But production had a twist ready. They were whisked away on a date together and given an ultimatum: leave the show single or couple up and return to the villa together. They chose to couple up and shared what fans now call the soul ties kiss. That kiss went viral for a reason. You could feel the tension, the chemistry, everything that had been building between them finally coming to the surface. But here's where it gets complicated. They decided they were just friends. Both of them felt they owed something to their previous partners. Olandria felt guilty because she knew how much Cierra had missed Nic during Casa Amor. Nic felt like he owed Cierra a real shot at making things work. So even though that kiss clearly meant something, they shut it down and went back to pursuing Taylor and Cierra.
Obviously, that didn't last. Those connections fell apart for various reasons. Cierra ended up leaving the show after old social media posts resurfaced showing she'd used offensive language in the past. Taylor admitted in interviews after the show that he was never physically attracted to Olandria, which must have been incredibly hurtful to hear publicly, even if she suspected it privately. In the final week of the show, Nic and Olandria finally allowed themselves to fully explore what had been there all along. They coupled up for real this time, and Nic Olandria became official in the eyes of the villa and the fans. They finished as runners-up, coming in second place behind Amaya Espinal and Brian Arenales. But honestly, based on fan reaction, you'd think they won. The Nic Olandria edits on TikTok and Instagram were everywhere. Fans have been shipping them since day one, creating compilations of every look, every touch, every moment of chemistry they spotted between them throughout the season. Nic and Olandria have both admitted they spend hours watching these fan edits together, which is kind of adorable.
Their relationship outside the villa has been interesting to watch unfold. At the reunion, which was filmed on August 12th, they addressed all the pressure from fans wanting them to put a label on things. Nic was honest about it, saying there's been a lot of pressure and people expecting them to be officially boyfriend and girlfriend by now. But both of them have been consistent about taking their time and not letting outside pressure dictate their pace. They're going on dates, making future plans, traveling together. They went on a vacation to Greece. They've been to Disneyland, which was their first real date outside the villa. Nic ran the New York City Marathon recently with Team Strava, which is wild considering he only started training a few months beforehand. After the marathon, he said they're looking forward to having more downtime together. He joked about how he initially wanted to take Olandria on a hot air balloon date and do all these elaborate things, but at this point, he just wants to sit on a couch and do nothing with her, which honestly sounds perfect after the chaos they've been through.
When Olandria appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, she gushed about Nic in a way that made it clear this isn't just for show. She talked about how he allows her to be soft and feminine, how he takes the wheel when she's usually a control freak, how the support he gives her is unreal. She said he literally takes her phone out of her hand when she's getting in her head reading comments, forcing her to step back from the noise. That's the kind of partnership that actually matters. Not the Instagram stories and coordinated outfits, but someone who protects your peace when you need it most. But their journey hasn't been all sunshine and romance. Olandria has had to deal with some serious challenges, particularly around online negativity and situations that cross lines. At the Love Island reunion, she and fellow castmate Chelley confronted Huda Mustafa about not speaking up when her followers were sending hate their way. Olandria got emotional, talking about how her face was edited onto disturbing images, how the comments got incredibly vicious, and how she'd asked Huda to address her followers about the racism and bullying, but received no support.
That moment at the reunion was powerful because Olandria wasn't attacking Huda. She was simply asking for accountability. She was asking why someone she considered a friend in the villa didn't speak up when things got ugly. It's one thing to deal with trolls online. It's another thing when someone with a massive platform refuses to use it to shut down hate being spewed in their name. Then, in late October, another incident happened. During a live stream with Huda and her boyfriend Louis Russell, someone in the comments used a slur directed at Olandria. Huda and Louis laughed, seemingly not realizing what had been said or who it was aimed at. The clip went viral, and Olandria responded with a statement that was both firm and measured. She made it clear that kind of language is never acceptable, not in anger, not as a joke, not ever. She talked about how those words carry generations of pain, and how defending, laughing about, or making excuses for them only keeps that cycle going.
Both Huda and Louis eventually issued apologies, and Huda made a personal donation to NAACP. But Olandria's response showed exactly who she is. She didn't just react emotionally. She used the moment to call for accountability and awareness. She asked people to donate to organizations like UNCF, NAACP, and the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. She turned a painful moment into an opportunity to uplift her community. That's leadership. That's using your platform for something beyond yourself. The amount of support Olandria received from the industry after that incident was telling. Major brands reached out. Fellow influencers and celebrities spoke up. It became clear that she's not just another reality TV contestant trying to extend her 15 minutes of fame. She's someone people respect, someone they want to support, someone they see as having staying power. All right, quick pause. If you're enjoying this deep dive and want more content breaking down everything happening in the Love Island universe, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got so much more coming.
Now, what about Beyond the Villa? The Love Island spinoff is filming its second season, and based on the behind-the-scenes content that's leaked, it looks like the dynamic is going to be interesting. The cast was recently filming a Friendsgiving episode, and you could see Hannah, Grayson, Iris, Amaya, who appears to have gone blonde, Belle, Dasha, and Andrena all together looking comfortable with each other. During BravoCon interviews, Amaya mentioned that there are tiered group chats among the cast, which makes sense. Not everyone is going to be equally close, especially after a season as messy as 7 was. The question is whether Olandria and Nic will be featured. Jeremiah mentioned during interviews that the spinoff will show more of their families and behind-the-scenes moments of their lives. Given how popular Nic Olandria is, it would make sense for production to feature them heavily. Fans want to see more of their dynamic, more of their relationship outside the challenges and drama of the villa. They want to see what Nic and Olandria are really like when they're just being themselves.
But here's the thing. Olandria doesn't need Beyond the Villa to stay relevant. That's what makes her position so interesting. Most reality TV contestants are desperate for any opportunity to stay on screen because they know the window of opportunity closes fast. Olandria is already building something sustainable that exists independent of whether she appears on another reality show or not. She's got brand partnerships, speaking engagements, fashion opportunities. She's being recognized at galas and included on prestigious lists. She's created a personal brand that has value beyond her relationship status or her connection to a specific show. There's been some conversation online about certain comments she made regarding her relationship with Nic and what it represents. Some people praised her for speaking openly about visibility and representation. Others criticized her for appearing to seek validation through her relationship. The debate got pretty heated on social media, with think pieces being written about interracial relationships in reality TV, representation, and whether visibility alone is enough to address deeper systemic issues. What's interesting is that Olandria hasn't shied away from these conversations. She's been willing to engage with complex topics around identity,
representation, and what it means to be in the public eye. Not everyone agrees with everything she says, and that's fine. But she's not trying to be perfect or universally liked. She's being authentic, speaking her truth, and letting the chips fall where they may. That takes courage, especially when you know everything you say will be dissected and debated across multiple platforms. Let's talk about the business side of things for a minute, because this is where Olandria's approach really stands out. When you look at how she structured her post-show career, it's clear there's strategy involved. She's not just taking every opportunity that comes her way, she's being selective about partnerships and making sure they align with her values and long-term goals. The Microsoft partnership is a perfect example. She could have partnered with any tech company, but she specifically worked with Microsoft and used that platform to highlight HBCU history and the importance of historically Black colleges and universities. That's intentional. That's using your platform to amplify something you genuinely care about while also securing a major brand partnership.
Same thing with the speaking engagements. She's not just showing up to cut ribbons and take photos. She's talking about education, about digital futures, about building sustainable careers. She's positioning herself as someone with insights and perspectives worth hearing, not just someone who is on TV and looks good in photos. The fashion partnerships are probably the most visible part of her post-show strategy. Working with stylists Matthew and Reginald Raceman, she's created this signature look that's recognizable but not repetitive. Every red carpet appearance feels like an evolution. The VMA look was bold and red and structural. The Brandon Blackwood moment was sophisticated and elegant. The Give Her Flowers Gala look we started with was glamorous and soft with an edge. She's showing range while still maintaining a cohesive aesthetic identity. And she's not afraid to take risks. Walking in Sergio Hudson's runway show during New York Fashion Week could have gone badly if she didn't have the presence to pull it off. But she did. She's attending CFDA Fashion Awards and sitting alongside industry heavyweights like it's natural. That confidence comes through, and it makes designers and brands want to work with her.
The Nicolandria brand deals are smart too. The Next Lip Kit, selling out in minutes, shows there's real commercial appeal to them as a couple. But they're also careful about not oversaturating. They're not doing a million couple partnerships where it starts to feel forced or desperate. They're selective. And when they do partner together, it feels authentic because you can see they actually enjoy working together. Nic has been supportive of Olandria's individual success in a way that's worth noting. He's not trying to ride her coattails or compete with her. When she is getting recognition, he's genuinely happy for her. When she's dealing with negativity online, he's taking her phone away and making sure she's okay. That matters. A lot of couples, especially couples who got together on reality TV, struggle with jealousy and competition when one person starts getting more opportunities than the other. Nic Olandria seems to have figured out how to celebrate each other's wins without making it weird. Looking at where Olandria was just 4 months ago versus where she is now, the trajectory is kind of insane. She went from being an original Love Island USA Season 7 contestant to being included on the Route 100 alongside Beyoncé and Kendrick Lamar. She went from navigating complicated relationships in a villa to walking New York Fashion Week runways. She went from hoping she'd be received well by viewers to being recognized as one of Gen Z's most influential creators by Cosmopolitan.
But through all of it, she's maintained this grace and groundedness that makes her compelling to watch. She hasn't let the success go to her head. She's still showing up for her community, still speaking about issues that matter, still being intentional about the kind of influence she wants to have. When she won that Ebony People's Choice Award, she was competing against people like Tracee Ellis Ross and Audra McDonald. Those are established, respected names in entertainment. The fact that she won shows that people see something special in her, something that goes beyond just being pretty or being on a popular show. Her net worth is estimated somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million now, which is wild considering she was working a corporate job at Otis Elevator Company less than a year ago. That money comes from multiple streams. Her salary from her job, her Love Island prize money from finishing second, which she shares with Nic, modeling contracts, sponsored social media posts, brand partnerships, and speaking fees. But what's notable is that she's reinvesting some of that money into HBCU scholarships. She's not just accumulating wealth for herself, she's thinking about how to create opportunities for others. That's the kind of thing that builds a legacy, not just a career. Anyone can make money and spend it on themselves. It takes vision to think about impact beyond your own immediate benefit. Olandria is clearly thinking long-term about what kind of influence she wants to have and what she wants to be remembered for.
Before we wrap this up, hit that subscribe button one last time because we're constantly covering everything happening in the Love Island world and beyond. So where does Olandria go from here? That's the question everyone's asking. She's already accomplished more in a few months than most reality TV contestants accomplish in years. She's secured major partnerships, made meaningful fashion connections, built a platform that extends well beyond social media, and maintained a relationship that fans are genuinely invested in. The smart money says she continues building in multiple directions, more fashion partnerships, and potentially even a clothing line of her own at some point, more speaking engagements, as she continues to establish herself as a voice worth listening to on topics beyond just reality TV. Potentially some acting or hosting opportunities as she gets more comfortable on camera in different contexts. Maybe even writing a book or launching a podcast if she wants to share more of her story and perspectives in a longer format.
The key is that she's not putting all her eggs in one basket. She's not trying to be just an influencer or just a model or just a speaker. She's building a multifaceted career that gives her flexibility and options. That's how you turn reality TV fame into something sustainable. And honestly, watching her navigate all of this with grace while dealing with real challenges like online negativity and complicated public conversations has been impressive. She's not pretending everything is perfect. She's not hiding behind a carefully curated image. She's being real about the struggles while also celebrating the wins. And people respond to that authenticity. The Give Her Flowers Gala moment we started with represents something bigger than just a pretty dress on a red carpet. It represents a milestone in a journey that started in a villa in Fiji and has expanded into something much more significant. That Self-Love Award wasn't just recognition for being on TV, it was recognition for the internal work, for the growth, for the way she's carried herself through challenges and successes alike. Having her mom there to present that award created a full circle moment that had nothing to do with followers or brand deals or any of the external measures of success. It was about a mother recognizing her daughter's journey, about family celebrating each other, about acknowledging that the work you do on yourself matters more than anything else. Looking at those photos from the gala, you can see someone who's comfortable in her own skin, confident in who she is and where she's going. The styling was on point. The gown was perfection, but what really came through was the energy. She wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. She was just showing up fully as herself, which is the best kind of fashion statement you can make. The online reaction to her appearance was overwhelmingly positive, with fashion accounts and magazines calling it one of the best looks of the night. But more than that, people were commenting on how happy she looked, how at peace she seemed. That's what matters. You can have all the designer clothes and red carpet invitations in the world, but if you're not genuinely content with who you are and where you're going, it shows.
Olandria seems to have found that contentment, or at least she's working toward it in a real way. The Self-Love Award isn't the end of that journey. It's a marker along the way. Recognition that she's on the right path. As for what's next with Nic Olandria, only time will tell. They're still taking things at their own pace, not rushing to put labels on things just because fans want them to. They're traveling together, working together on select projects, supporting each other through this wild post-show adjustment period. Whether that eventually turns into something more official and long-term remains to be seen. But for now, they seem content to just enjoy each other's company and see where things go naturally. The Love Island universe will keep spinning with new seasons and new contestants and new drama. But Olandria has already proven she's bigger than any one show or moment. She's building something that exists independent of whether people are still talking about Season 7 in a year or 5 years. She's creating a brand and a platform that has legs.
And that, more than the fashion or the brand deals or any of the external success, is what makes her story worth following. She took an opportunity that comes to a lot of people, being on a popular reality show, and she's doing something meaningful with it. She's not just trying to stay famous, she's trying to build something that matters. The Give Her Flowers Gala was just one night, one dress, one award. But it represents so much more than that. It represents validation, growth, family, style evolution, and a moment to pause and acknowledge how far she's come. From the Love Island villa to walking Fashion Week runways to accepting awards for self-love, Olandria is writing her own story on her own terms. And honestly, that's the best kind of success story there is. Not the one where everything is perfect and easy, but the one where someone takes opportunities, works hard, stays authentic, deals with challenges gracefully, and builds something sustainable. That's what we're watching unfold in real time.
So yeah, Olandria showed up to the Give Her Flowers Gala looking absolutely incredible in that Amor Garibovic gown with those leather gloves and that soft, glamorous styling. Her mom presented her with a self-love award. Her family was there supporting her. She gave a beautiful speech. It was a perfect night, captured in perfect photos. But it was also so much more than that. It was a statement. It was a milestone. It was proof that she's not just another reality TV contestant trying to extend their 15 minutes. She's someone with staying power, with substance, with a vision for what she wants to build. And based on everything she's accomplished in just a few months, we're probably just seeing the beginning of what Olandria is capable of. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed because we'll be following Olandria's journey and breaking down everything happening in the Love Island universe and beyond. Drop a comment letting me know what you think about Olandria's post-show trajectory and whether you think Nic Olandria will make it long-term. I'll see you in the next one.